What's up, guys? Welcome to Fantasy Smack Talk. I'm Namco, sitting here with Dustin, and I know we've been pipping this a lot, but the NFL Pick'em and Survivor contests are up on the website. One thing we've neglected to tell you, though, if you've already been doing this with your friends, go ahead and join up. You can create your own custom groups in it, and then that way you also have a chance to win prizes along with anything else that you guys might do on the side. So for this week's waiver wire, Dustin, let's start off with some pitchers.
Let's start with some relief pitchers, and the first guy is J.J. Putz out there at the White Sox. This guy has been on fire, only on 10% of leagues, hasn't given up an earned run since May 7th.
That's a long time.
You know, with Thornton out there not pitching that well, and obviously Jinx with his ups and downs, don't be shocked if Putz gets to that job sooner than later. Next, we got John Axford. You know, we've been high on him ever since he took over the role. Now, he's not really blowing things away. I mean, he's still putting up just kind of okay numbers, but only on 45% of leagues. He should get a lot of save opportunities. We say pick him up if you at all need saves. And one other guy, we got Esmerling Vasquez. We talked about him last week. But it doesn't look like
what you do.
Doesn't look like Hallman is the guy out there in Arizona. We don't know if Vasquez is truly going to be their answer, but we think he has a better chance of being a long-term closer for Arizona. So we think definitely keep a close eye on him. We got one starting pitcher for you in Trevor Cahill with Oakland, owning 40% of leagues. 8 of his last 9 starts, quality starts. This young pitcher does have a big upside. Could be a good pickup for you.
All right, I'm going to start talking about some hitters now, and the first one's Carlos Quentin of the White Sox, owned in 60% of leagues. Now, if you're in a league that puts a lot of emphasis on power, last month he's had 8 home runs and 23 RBIs. Next, we're going to talk about Adam Jones of Baltimore, owned in 75% of leagues. His swings looked a lot better as of late, and he's had 7 home runs in the last month while batting over 300. Next guy we're going to talk about is Chipper Jones. Right now, he's owned in 60% of leagues, and it's Chipper. You know what you're going to get. But he's been looking to be batting for average a little bit better as of late, so if you need a third baseman, he might be a good guy to pick up and plug in. And the last hitter I'm going to talk about is Carlos Santana, the young rookie catcher for the Indians. He's owned in 55% of leagues right now, and he's batting for average, and it's a rookie, so it's going to be the ups and downs kind of roller coaster. But he's on a hot streak right now. He's worth a pickup, and he's certainly a sell-high candidate as well.
I got 2 more hitters for you, and I start with Garrett Jones. He's got first base and outfield eligibility, only on 65% of leagues. And of course, he goes on an 0 for 11 slump right before we talk about him. But before that, he had multi-hit games in 5 of his last 7 games. We do think this guy has a big upside. He could have a breakout year. And the last guy I'm going to talk about is Gabby Sanchez, first baseman for Florida, only owning 20% of leagues. So far in June, he's batting .368 with decent power. Could be a decent first baseman pickup for you.
All right, instead of giving you a different segment this week, we're just going to answer the forum questions. They've really been very active lately. So we're going to start with a question from JXR29. All right, Dustin, he traded King Felix Hernandez, and he got back Markham, Lidge, and Michael Young. What are your thoughts?
I really don't like this one for you. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, Lidge, I think he's very close to being waiver wire caliber closer. Obviously, he does have a huge upside. He could go back to his old self, but that's far from a guarantee. Markham, he is playing really well, but again, I think he's easily replaceable. And then you get Michael Young, who's a nice third baseman. He's going to give you some value, but in our opinion, you traded a top 3 pitcher. Felix is starting to turn it around. We think he has a much bigger upside than all these guys. And look at it from the other guy's point of view. He got a top 3 pitcher, traded away okay third baseman, and 2 guys that he probably picked up on the waiver wire along the way. So I think that guy definitely got the better deal. Plus, he got those 2 free roster spots. Sorry.
Brutal.
Next one comes from Reese. He wants to know, he got offered a trade for McCutchen, where he's giving up Granderson, and he's wanting to know if he should do it.
All right, well, these guys are very similar type players. So basically, we're just going to take a look at this year. McCutchen's having the better year. We say go ahead and pull the trigger. I know he plays for a terrible team in the Pirates, and then you're giving up a Yankee. But it's all about individual performance in fantasy. Pull the trigger on this trade.
He's more fun to watch, too.
Dustin loves this guy.
I do love that.
All right, Dustin, last question in the forums. Why can't it be 1983 wants to know if he should pick up Suzuki? Right now, he's got Wieters on his team, and he's thinking about dropping him to pick him up.
Well, he also has mentioned that he has Montero on his team, too. And I do like having 2 catchers on daily setup leagues, because it's really nice to be able to plug one of those catchers in when they have an off day. Here's the problem. Wieters does have trade value, so you would be dropping a guy that has trade value. But if I had to pick, I would take Suzuki over Wieters. Now, I do think Wieters has a higher ceiling and could end up having the better year than Suzuki, but Suzuki's definitely the safer bet for giving you consistent numbers from here on out. It's a tough one. Maybe do one last effort to try to trade Wieters, but I would take Suzuki over Wieters.
You got Miguel anyway, who's a beast.
Or maybe pick Suzuki up and try to trade one of those 3 pitchers. I don't know who else you could drop, but it's a tough call, but definitely Suzuki over Wieters. That's it for this week's show. I'm Dustin. This is Brent. Sign up for our football games. Get into our forums. We'll see you next week.